ahead and talk about Mitchell Trubisky because people are getting crazy out there saying that he's not an upgrade on Ben Roethlisberger, which I don't know if you watched football or not last year, but Ben Roethlisberger was absolutely horrendous. So what are the fantasy implications for the Steelers moving forward? And is this something that we should be excited for the Steelers or just more like, meh, it is what it is? We'll start out with Jakob on this one.
Well, I'm not excited about Mitchell Trubisky. That seems like a really aggressive word.
Yeah.
I think he's better than Ben because Ben essentially was like a construction crane last year in terms of his ability to just dropping balls, moving around slowly, rotating, getting in the way. I don't think that Trubisky's going to be worse. I think it's possible that he's worse for fantasy because Ben just runs this uniquely Ben offense where they don't do motion, they don't run the ball, they don't do anything. They just kind of get to the line and he's like, all right, everybody just run some drags and I'll throw it to you. It's kind of like when you play Madden and you just hit the no huddle and you just hit run last play over and over again on mesh. That's essentially the Ben offense. And it's pretty fantasy friendly, especially for Diontae. So it's possible maybe it's not an upgrade in that sense. But I do think it's an upgrade for the offense. I think that Diontae Johnson's still a wide receiver 1 in all formats, especially a dynasty, in my opinion. I think, it can only be a positive for Claypool because Ben just does not have a functional arm to be able to pass to Claypool. And Trubisky is been a guy that's been willing to throw it to A-Rob while draped in coverage repeatedly. So I think it can only be an upgrade for Claypool. And the nice thing is it's a pretty inexpensive deal. So I don't think this precludes them from drafting a quarterback at pick number 20 at all.
All right, Shane, what you got, man? Or we can go to Rich.
I don't know. I mean, Jacob already covered it, really. Claypool, it couldn't have gotten worse for him, right? Literally, it couldn't have, unless they threw me out there. And then it might be a little bit worse than it was last year. Is Najee Harris going to see 100 targets this year? Probably not, 94 to be exact. So that's probably a little worrisome if, he's your, I don't know, your Dynasty 2 running back, Dynasty 3. But you knew they were going to upgrade a quarterback. They didn't have a choice, right? They literally didn't have a choice. Ben retired, and you can't start Mason Rudolph. That's just someone tried to kill him the last time he played football. He was that bad. So
He's crying because he definitely believed that they were going to go with him.
I was.
What's with that guy?
I was hoping for.
He was so nice. I don't know what the plan is. It's
Oh man, I thought you were still saying more, Shane.
No, I was done, man. I'm not saying that.
It's really like Jacob said. It's just about just them not having to function this offense. It's what Ben limited them to do. I mean, only the Buccaneers had fewer dropbacks with throws outside of the pocket than the Steelers. They used play action on just 18% of his dropbacks. That was 36th in the league, and he was also 4th in the league in shotgun rate. So they're just going to have a lot more bootleg stuff. Matt Canada, I was hoping this is where Mariota was going to go because he needs a mobile quarterback to run the system.
Yep.
Trubisky's fine, same whatever. Maybe they're not that far, right? A stone's throw away from each other. But I was hoping for this was a Mariota retribution spot to have these types of players around him. But yeah, it's just going to be a different looking offense. It's just not necessarily it's going to be statistically a better offense.
Well, I mean, Mitchell Trubisky needs play action. He really does. And he had such a higher completion rate when operating off of play action versus not. But, I mean, honestly,
every quarterback in the history of football has a better completion percentage off of play action.
That's not always true, but a lot of them do. However, Mitchell Trubisky's variance is tremendous in terms of his completion rate when using play action and then when not. But more so, I think that this was important for the Steelers to do long term because of the fact that they needed an offensive line so bad. And if they would have traded away draft picks to try and get a top end quarterback, they would have been screwed. I would have been fine with Marcus Mariota. I think that would have been a great play, either way. But on the other end, Trubisky's success is solely based on his protection. So Trubisky struggled tremendously when teams didn't blitz, but still got pressure on him. And he ended up throwing 7 of his 8 interceptions while under pressure, and 3 of the 7 were targets to Allen Robinson. So when he's trying to force feed the ball, when he doesn't have multiple options on that offense, Trubisky is going to struggle, and he always has. Having Claypool, having Diontae Johnson. Having, whether they bring back Juju Smith-Schuster or they end up drafting somebody, because I believe they're going to do one of the two, I think that's going to be crucial to his development. And I think that he could end up playing a significant role. And I want him for fantasy as like Rich said earlier, a QB2 of choice, where you can actually grab him and he could be closer to a QB1 with his rushing upside. That offense that we were seeing under Matt Nagy was not good. And the time that it took for plays to develop is not the system that Matt Canada runs. So I'm excited for Mitch Trubisky moving forward. I think that he could be a fantasy asset. And I think he could be a steal in drafts, especially in 2 quarterback leagues. I'm trying to grab him where I can.